We have a middleweight clash here between Brad Tavares coming in at minus 135 going up against Eric Anders, who comes in at plus 115. Now, starting off on the Tavares side of things, it's clear that his durability is starting to fall off a cliff. This is a guy that used to rely on that durability a lot, but, it's not been looking good. 3 times in his last 6 fights, he's lost by knockout. And we can give him the benefit of the doubt in some of these matchups. The Robert Byrd one, I felt it might have been a little bit too quick of a stoppage, but the visual of him going down the way he did was not a good look. So I kind of sympathize with the ref in terms of stepping in when he did. But, he's not eating shots as well as he used to, and that's obviously going to cause him a lot of problems as he goes up against these heavy hitters who are often going to be looking to land those big shots to put him away. Him at his best is him dictating the striking realm, good output, good volume, good combinations, good sticking and moving style, good takedown defense, which is something that often shines in his game. And then obviously the experience, right? This is going to be his 28th UFC fight and his first as a 38-year-old. He's been in the UFC, 15 plus years, if I'm not mistaken, and obviously faced the best of the division, the worst of the division, everything in between, and he's getting another veteran here in Eric Anders. Now, Anders is coming off of a knockout loss against Christian Leroy Duncan. I believe the first knockout loss of his career, which kind of goes to show similar to his opponent this weekend, that maybe age is catching up to these guys. Eric Anders, 38 years old. Brad Tavares, also 38 years old. But Anders, tried making it dirty, tried making it grindy against Duncan, engaging in the clinch, trying to get some good shots off there. But he really, really struggled, especially when we saw Duncan get to space and get off with the shots. And then obviously that nasty spinning back elbow that Duncan landed to hurt Anders and then smother him with a barrage of shots to get him out of there. Anders may have been pushed a little bit too quickly when he started his UFC run. He was 10-0 as a pro coming into the UFC, or including 2 of those wins in the UFC, and then they threw him right into a main event against Lyoto Machida in Brazil. And since that fight, including that loss to Machida, he is now 7-9, and he rode 2 different 2-fight winning streaks, but has been able to get any more success outside of that. At his best, he tries to smother opponents in the clinch, utilizes physicality, utilizes strength. If he can get opponents to the ground, he has some decent success there. At times, he has mediocre knockout power. He can land with big shots and try to put opponents away. A guy who has really benefited from his athleticism and strength and explosivity more than anything. I think that's far surpassed what his talent and skill level is at, and I think that's why he's been able to hold on to a UFC roster spot as long as he has. But if you take into consideration his last 2 wins coming against guys like Jamie Pickett and Chris Weidman, you got to wonder whether he still deserves to be fighting at this level. This is a perfect matchup from a matchmaking perspective, right? 2 aging guys coming off losses off of young knockout specialists, guys that should be fighting guys like themselves, right? You don't want to put these guys up against the young killers because you're going to get them knocked out, and it's not a great look. If you want to keep them on the roster, put them up against each other. So this is a perfect point for that. This is perfect evidence of that, putting these 2 together. And it makes sense why the line is as close as it is, but I have to give the edge to Tavares. I believe he's the better striker, and I don't think Anders can muster up the knockout power to put Tavares away here. He might be able to wobble him, but I don't think he'll be able to put him away. I think Anders is going to look to a clinch here, try to overwhelm Tavares there, but I think that's going to cause him issues as Tavares works out of those spots. And then when they're in open space, I think Tavares lands the better combinations, lands more effective damage over the course of 15 minutes, and I think that leads to Tavares getting back into the win column, shaking off that loss to Robert Byrd, and then winning this fight on the scorecards. The hedge obviously would be Anders by knockout, but I'd kind of be surprised if he lands that big shot to put Tavares on wobbly legs. So give me Tavares and Tavares by decision.